Hi, I'm Chris, here with Megan, and we're part of our next Getting to Know Changes Staff video, we're here to speak to Jackie, who's our operations manager. So I'm going to hand over to Megan, who's got some questions, and she'll get us going. Megan.
So we always start with this one, but obviously Chris has just mentioned that you're the operations manager, but I happen to know that you have been involved with changes for a very long time. So how and when did you first get involved with changes?
Would have been about 20 years ago when I was studying at university and was asked to do a critical review of changes services.
And then how did we get into changes? Who asked? Where did we go from there?
I spent a year with changes, volunteering and doing other bits of work while I was still at university. And then a job opportunity came up 6 months after I'd left university, and I applied for it and got it.
And what job role was that? What did you enter changes doing?
Support worker on the young person service.
Amazing. And then obviously support worker on the young person service and operations manager is a little bit of a jump. What's the journey we've been on to get there? What other job roles have you done?
I was only the support worker for about 8 weeks, and then was asked nicely and persuaded to take over and manage the young person service. Obviously that was sort of with some lottery funding, a small service in the beginning, and we built the service from there. I worked on the young person service for probably about 7 or 8 years, and then we won some funding and I went and started a service in the Newcastle Staffordshire Moorlands area and worked on that service and built it up for about 5 years. And then we won some more funding in Burton, Uttoxeter, Tamworth, Lichfield, Burntwood, and I went over as the operations manager to oversee and manage the start of the 5 new branches in the south. And then I came back to Stoke at the end of that contract and just oversee all the services.
Amazing. So basically you're a little service builder by the sounds of it.
That tends to be my job role.
And what is your job role as operations manager now? Because it's quite a big title, but for people watching, what does that actually mean? What do you do?
Very much a bit of anything. Could be known as a general dog's body, but I work as the CEO's wingman. I manage all the service managers. I do bits of HR. I do a lot of reporting, writing reports and figures, do a bit of funding development. It's a bit of everything. We're a small team. So as a management team, we all sort of input in all bits.
Amazing, thank you. So now we've got a little overview of how and when and what you do at Changes. Let's have a little talk about you as a person. So throughout lockdown, what have you been doing? I mean, let's talk about lockdown 1 and a little bit of 2 now. What have you been doing to keep yourself sane?
Doing the garden up, painting fences, decorating, renovating furniture, an awful lot of walking. Was up to nearly 40 miles a week at one point. Seems to have gone down bank at the moment. And I'm working throughout. So.
And have you done anything differently or learned anything new during this kind of different type of year we're having?
Patience.
Yeah, I think we've all had to get on the patience train, haven't we? Yes. Okay.
Absolutely.
So let's know a little bit more about you. Do you do any sports or hobbies? Did you do any as a child?
As a child, I played tennis. As a teenager in early 20s, I played darts.
You played darts as well, didn't you?
I played a lot, yes, perhaps about 5 nights a week. It was more of an obsession than a hobby at one point.
I heard you've got a lot of trophies, darts trophies.
I have a few. I do. And before lockdown, I had used to go to the gym every morning. But again, I don't do that now. So I'd say that was my only hobby currently. I do a lot of playing Scrabble.
A lot of playing Scrabble. Right. Amazing. Has that been keeping you sane during lockdown, playing Scrabble?
Absolutely. It's good to keep your mind alert.
Yeah. And what type of person would you say you were at school when you were younger?
Naughty.
Naughty. Expand for us, please, Jackie.
I think I was just there to enjoy myself.
So you had a good time at school then?
Absolutely loved it.
And has there been any points in your life where you would say you've struggled with your own mental health? Because for a lot of people, their kind of entry into changes as a service is through being a service user. And obviously, you've explained that that wasn't the case for yourself. Has there been any points where you've needed support with your own mental health?
I suppose one of the lowest points would have been after I had been working at Changes for a year when the kid's dad died in an accident, and we had a tough couple of years with the kids.
And how did you manage that? Did you receive any support for yourself, or did you kind of manage that yourself?
I mean, at the time I worked for Changes, so I was very much involved in the peer support groups, which, as we all know, you can use the groups for yourself as well as coordinating and supporting others. And I was very lucky to be working for an organisation like Changes at that point, who everybody had a real good understanding and empathy with what was going on.
Yeah, that seems like a little bit of luck in a very sad time.
It was.
So jumping back to Changes just a little bit, because I forgot to ask you this. As a service, what do you think is unique and special about Changes?
Probably the uniqueness of the programme and the people we employ. The majority of people we employ have been involved with Changes as a service user or through knowing somebody who's been involved with themselves. And I think we're really lucky to have staff which have true empathy and commitment to the organisation. They've experienced it firsthand and they know its worth, and that sort of oozes on the delivery and the service for other people. So I'd say just a difference in commitment from our staff. We're very lucky.
Yeah, I agree. So back to some more frivolous questions. What sort of things do you like to watch on TV, if you do watch TV?
If it's got a house or food in it, I'm there. So anything cooking, anything houses, location, grand designs, a place in the sun, come dine with me, MasterChef, Hell's Kitchen.
So quite light watching.
I think I prefer programmes like that because obviously with the work we do, you're very focused and concentrating all day, and it's just that bit of light relief.
And do you have a favourite ever film?
Absolutely. And that would be Parent Trap. I've
Great.
only watched it about 100 times, maybe.
Have you watched any good series over lockdown, like dramas?
Probably my favourite one was The Fall, although I had to finish off watching it early mornings as I was too anxious to watch it in the evening. I recently watched a quick 6-episode on iPlayer called Mandy, and that was absolutely hysterical, very light-hearted. So, yeah.
Yeah, they're both very, very good. Have you watched them, Chris?
I haven't, no. I know Jackie's talked to me about The Fall before. It's on my very long list of things to watch. I will get to.
Good things, isn't there?
There is.
So many. Do you have a favourite animal?
I'm not really an animal lover. Um, I'm allergic to animals, so I was always kept away from animals as a child. I suppose my favourite animal, if you had to pick one, would be a cow because I think they're beautiful.
They are.
You mentioned earlier on that you like your location series and your food series. You're a bit of a foodie, so any favourite recipes or any favourite foodstuffs? What would you like to share with us?
Oh,
Something now, what would you eat?
if I could eat what I want, I'm a bit of a meat eater. So I think my choice would always be, I think one of my favourite meals would be pan-fried duck, red cabbage and dauphinoise potatoes. Would
And do you have a comfort food?
chili. A recipe that I learned quite a few years ago from a friend and have now been making it for about 15 years. And everybody appears to love my chili. It's not a traditional con carne, but it goes down well.
And before changes, did you have any other jobs? What kind of jobs have you had throughout your life?
I started off in insurance and accounting work. So that's what I did for my first few years. That was in a family business. Fell out with my dad. Like I say, I was a naughty young one and went to work on a mill. So I went to work at Leek and Slimmer and was lucky enough to be put on a specialised unit there. And the pay was just fantastic. So I stayed there for an awful lot of years because I couldn't replace the pay. And it was great working with lots of people on a factory. I really enjoyed it. When the industry went down, our section was closed, and that was when I decided to go back to university at 31.
And what did you study at university?
Crime, deviance and society, and then my last year was specialising in different discriminations, inequalities and mental health.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
It was great.
What was your favourite part of the degree?
I think I enjoyed all of it, meeting new people.
So, do you have a favourite place to go on holiday or your favourite ever place you've visited?
Holidays, I've got my comfy slippers, which would be to Mallorca, somewhere I tend to go back each and every year. Really enjoy it. A lot of stigma involved around Magaluf and those ends, but Santa Ponsa, Magaluf, Palma Nova, absolutely super holiday. So that's my comfy slippers. And apart from that, I really enjoy exploring holidays. So going sort of further afield. I think one of my favourite places I've ever been is Sri Lanka. And that was just so tranquil. It was great.
Have you got any favourite bands or types of music that you listen to?
I like a lot of music. My favourite radio station is Smooth. That'll be something to do with my age, I'd say. So love the music on Smooth. But if you had to go for artists, I would have to pick Robbie Williams just because I'm from Stoke. James Morrison just because he's fantastic.
Do you have any life goals that you've not achieved? Is there anything you'd like to achieve in your life that you haven't yet?
I suppose I'd like to build my own house. Told you I was interested in housing. I'd like to have a restaurant or a cafe as well. And there we go, food. And I'd like to have a place abroad to relax and enjoy. But I think I'm quite happy with my lot. I think I've had quite a fortunate life.
That's lovely. So obviously you've been involved with mental health for 20 years, did you say?
Yeah.
You will have seen the mental health industry evolve over the last 20 years. If you were to make a prediction on changes that are going to be made over the next the next 20 years, where would you say mental health is moving towards?
I think there'll be more needed. Sadly, sort of the environment everybody's growing up in now, I think there is a lot more pressures and a lot more stress. I think the one significant thing I've seen perhaps over the last 20 years is the age of young people coming into services getting younger and younger by the year. I think really over the last 20 years, I suppose when I started with changes, talking therapies just weren't as accepted as they are these days. And I think over sort of the last 10, 15 years, the value of sort of group therapy, peer support, cognitive behaviour therapy, that sort of thing has really sort of gone from strength to strength because it works and it's helped so many people. So I think definitely a move away from medication, although there is a place for it, and a move towards people building that resilience and tools and managing the well-being.
Yeah. Okay, Jackie, I think we've got a really nice overview of you, a little nice idea about you. So to ask the final question, which we always end these videos with, if somebody who is struggling with their mental health is watching this, what would you like to say to them?
Don't keep it to yourself. Talk to somebody, find some support. If we keep problems to ourselves, they can absolutely spiral and we think there's no way out. And by talking to somebody, contacting a service like Changes, getting that support, advice, knowledge, sort of that bit of inspiration that you're not the only one and there is help out there and there is a future, just share it. Don't keep it to yourself. Make sure you get the support. It's take action, step 2.
Lovely. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your time, Jackie. And thank you, Megan. And we'll see you all again soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.